Just be glad for all you have that's in today.
Hey everyone, Connie here, and welcome to my blind reaction to Wandering Sun, Episode 4. Yeah, I was originally going to do both 4 and 5 today, but I've decided with the time we've got and everything at this point, I think I'd rather just stick with 1. I think I would rather just do the 1. Now, I don't know why, but it was mentioned to me like 4 and 5, I guess, were someone in my comments wanted me to see them react to them together. I don't know why. I don't know if there's a reason for that. But it's like, at this point, it's 5:20 p.m. as I'm recording this. And I have to record this, I have to record JoJo, and then I actually am planning to make dinner tonight, so I just have stuff to do, and I want to make sure that I do it, you know? So, yeah. I want to make sure I can get to everything I want to get to, basically. But, that being said, I am legit excited for more of this. This series has been pretty good, and I'm interested in seeing where it goes. Now, I don't remember if I mentioned this last time, but I'll say it here just in case I didn't. This is an interesting, kind of complex series for me. Because, I mean, definitely as you noticed last time, this series does have an emotional pull for me that hits really hard. I mean, being a trans girl myself. But at the same time, it's really slow-paced. Like, the story itself is good, the characters are good, the struggles they're going through and how it portrays being trans, all of that's good. But at the same time, the presentation itself is done in a slow manner, to where it feels like each episode is longer than it is, and it kind of drags on, and it feels like almost like it feels like it's hard to get back to every week. It's one of those shows that I've talked about in the past that is, I wouldn't say is starting to feel meh to me, but the way it's presented is meh. The pacing of it and everything is meh. But the actual series itself is good. It's just like every time I get to needing to react to it, I find myself having trouble getting to it. And it's one of those shows that is kind of in the same realm as K-On! Season 2, Oban Star Racers, or Dofus. Those shows that I dropped before I really started to dislike them or anything. Basically, shows I dropped too early just because of more of a meh feeling towards it and more of, like, not feeling super excited to get to it each week, rather than actually not liking it or finding it not worthy of continuing on. And it's almost funny kind of being in this situation again after recently having come to, well, realization of my past mistakes with dropping Dofus and Oban and all of that. Especially those two, considering they were reward reactions for Megastream donations. But that being said, this series, I'm not saying I'm putting it on watch or dropping it at any time soon. I'm just saying it's like I might just continue to do just the 1 episode a week and not even try to go into 2, just because I feel like it might be easier. It might allow me to enjoy it better that way. Or there was my second option, and that was to put the series on hold for a bit. Not drop it, but put it on hold and watch something else in the meantime, and then come back to it after I've had some time to kind of refresh on it so I don't feel so bogged down. Basically a way to stop myself from possibly dropping it. And here's the thing. I believe it's 10 or 11 episodes. Let me just check to make sure. Just to be safe. Because I was thinking of dropping it. Okay, it's 12 episodes. So, there's 12 episodes, but it aired as 11 because I guess one was double length or something. Let me see what it shows on Kiss Anime. Because again, no, not Crunchyroll. Because again, I want to be safe here. I want to know for sure before I decide anything, and I kind of want to decide today. Again, and I'm not dropping it. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying deciding on, like, what I'm going to do, whether or not I'm going to put it on hold or not. Because if I'm putting it on hold, it'll probably be after today's episode. And I know this will only be episode 4. But it's like... Okay, it's listed as 12 episodes here on Kiss Anime. So it aired as 11, so I guess one was double length or something. But there are 12 listed. So I'm wondering if I should possibly wait till 6, like do it halfway through. You know what? Here's what we're going to do. Here's what we're going to do. Yeah. I was thinking about something. We're going to watch episode 4 today. And we're going to watch episode 5. We're going to watch both. Yeah, we're going to do both 4 and 5 today. And then I'm going to put it on hold. I'll talk about this again in my post viewing thoughts, my end thoughts and all. But we're going to watch 4 and 5 today because I have both of those downloaded already. And then we're going to put it on hold. And it's going to be... it's going to be on hold basically until another spot opens up. It's going to take the spot of something else, which means I'm going to have to push something else back. I already have a few ideas of where I could put it. But it's going to be like next up in a certain slot, basically. So it's like Wandering Sun is going to be replaced for the time being by another show, another poll show. And I'll get to the poll soon, in a minute. I'll talk about that in the afterthoughts, let's put it that way. So it's going to be replaced by another poll show. And in the meantime, it's going to be put into a spot, and again, I'll figure this out in the afterthoughts, but it's going to be put into another spot so that when a certain show I'm currently reacting to finishes, it will take right over. It'll take over right away. And we'll go from there. So it'll be back, I don't know, sometime in the very near future. Let's put it that way. But yeah, we're going to do 4 and 5 today. I know I said episode 4, but we're doing both. Because again, I've already got both downloaded. I was originally planning on doing both anyways, and I do have time to do both. So we're going to do both of those today. I'm going to record JoJo as well, but we're also going to do a poll. And again, I'll talk about that in my afterthoughts. We'll figure that all out then. And we'll figure out exactly where we're going to place everything. In fact, I might even think about that while we're watching. But yeah, I think this is the best way to handle it, because that way we can take a break, we can get refreshed on things, so we don't feel slogged down. Because I'm starting to with this show, and I don't want to feel like... I don't want to end up putting it off a certain week or two or whatnot, and end up just feeling like I don't want to continue, because I don't want to drop this show unless I'm really feeling like I don't have a reason or desire to continue. I want to continue because of, again, other than the show's slow pacing, it's still good. It's still a very good, important show that I want to continue to watch. But I'm going to need a break. So yeah, we're going to put it on hold for a little bit after this. I do apologize for that, but yeah, we'll get it all figured out, and it won't be any problem at all. So, that being said, we're just going to continue on and get on with the reaction. So yeah, 4 and 5 today, despite what I said before. So yeah. So when the screen fades to black, pause this redirect and go to the description below. Follow the link to the reaction, and after you watch that, come back here to the redirect and resume play. Because after it fades to black, then fades back in, everything from that point forward will be my afterthoughts and will contain spoilers to the episode, as well as more talk regarding what's going to happen for the future of this series and what will be replacing it, all of that jazz. So thank you all so much for tuning in, and I will see you at the reaction. And we are back, and we will begin with spoilers in 3, 2, 1, now. Okay, so the first episode of these two seemed to focus a lot on Nitori and Takatsuki, their relationship, and their acknowledgement of each other's true genders. The second episode focused more on the script writing and everything, and just, I guess, the prep for this festival and all. By the end of the first episode, I was actually considering not putting this show on hold anymore, because I was truly invested in and loving that episode. By the end of the second episode here, episode 5, I was utterly convinced that I need to put this on hold. And the reason is because episode 5 was boring as hell. Honestly, I'd say it was one of the weakest episodes of the series so far. And I think one of the big reasons is one of the characters it focused very heavily on. And I want to make sure I get the name right before I just assume here. I think it's Sayori. Okay, Sayori. I guess some people just add the N on like they do with Nitori. Sayori Chiba. Sayori is my least favorite character by far in this series. She comes across as extremely selfish, neglective, and poor-natured. Everything is about how she feels. She's constantly attacking or yelling at her friends. Constantly going into this everybody hates me and I hate everyone attitude. And here's the thing. Part of my reasons for not liking this is because I've been there. There have been points where, especially at the height of my depression, where I've acted like that. Where I've thought nobody loved me. Where I thought nobody cared about me. And where I tried to make myself believe that I didn't care about them. And the thing about it is, I despise that time. I despise when I've been like that. It's actually the part of me that I'm glad that I've moved past. There are still times where I really feel down about myself, where I have a lot of self-confidence issues. But there's a difference between having self-confidence issues and, honestly, being a bitch. And I'll be honest, Sayori is kind of bitchy. There are points where she'll, yes, encourage Nitori in being who she is, but then she acts like this way too often, and it's like she's extremely moody, let's put it like that way, to an unlikable level. The second episode focused so heavily on her and had that entire aspect of her wanting to change the play to make it more gloom and doom, as was put, to make it so that she can add in, like, have all the characters die and whatnot. And it seems like she's trying to spite people. She basically admitted that her reason for acting like this was because Nitori didn't get the part of Juliet. She basically admitted that she's being pissy because she didn't get to be the Romeo to Nitori's Juliet. Because she has a serious crush on Nitori. And can't stand the idea of this not going her way, basically. And like I said, she does seem to be supportive of Nitori in her transitional phases and whatnot. But it's like there's points where it gets really, really hard to watch and really hard to support this character. She treats her friends like shit. I don't understand how, like, I don't understand how she can get away with this. I do not understand how this is okay. And it's just like, it's annoying as hell to me. Because it's like, I want to find some reason, any reason, to like her. And for the life of me, I can't find anything. Except, again, her supportive attitude towards Nitori. One thing I also noticed that I do dislike about this show, but at the same time do like, is the constant misgendering of these characters. The fact that these characters, Nitori and Takatsuki specifically, are referred to by the wrong genders constantly, it's realistic, and they even refer to each other by the wrong genders constantly. But it's realistic because they're still questioning things and they're still trying to figure things out. They acknowledge each other's true gender, but they have a hard time using the right terminology and stuff. And it's irritating because it's like I'm constantly referring to Takatsuki as he, using he/him pronouns. I'm constantly using she/her pronouns for Nitori. But it's like there's points where I almost trip up because everyone else is referring to Nitori with he/him pronouns and Takatsuki with she/her pronouns. And again, it's realistic because they're still questioning everything. They're still starting to go through with this. It's not like fully settled for them yet. And of course, not everybody's going to be supportive and not everybody's going to understand and not everybody's going to even know. So of course, people are still going to use the improper pronouns for them. But at the same time, again, it's just personally for me, it's irritating to watch. And again, it's also a good thing. But it's just personally irritating. So I honestly have to look up the synopsises for these episodes to really get a feel for it. This is one of those shows that it's like, it's not the things that are happening aren't super memorable. So the big thing that we notice in episode 4 is at the very beginning we see kind of the continuation of Takatsuki's gender dysphoria. We see that he is very uncomfortable wearing the school-assigned female swimsuit. So he dives into the pool and kind of just, for a time at least, just curls up kind of at the bottom of the pool in what is very clearly supposed to represent a moment of extreme discomfort and sorrow. And it's a very important moment for his character. And I mentioned last time with the previous episode, with episode 3, how impactful his dysphoria was for me. I mean, it brought me to tears, pretty much. And I mentioned, of course, like, I go through the opposite. Being a trans girl, it's a different experience than what Takatsuki was shown to be going through. I have the dysphoria regarding my body as well, but while Takatsuki wishes he didn't have the breasts and everything, I wish I did. And so it's the opposite. But I still understand the dysphoria either way. So we also see in this episode, Takatsuki visits this other woman. This woman's name is Yuki. And apparently this is something I didn't grasp. Because this woman was, I think it was the same woman before, the woman who had bought Takatsuki the male uniform. Something I didn't grasp, and I'm reading here, and this is the synopsis for the episode, so it tells me the info from the episode. I don't know if it said it before or not, but it's something I definitely did not realize. Yuki is trans. Yuki is a trans woman. And we see that she's in a relationship with this other guy who was there as well. I don't remember his name. It was mentioned. So that's why she's so supportive of Takatsuki. And they seem to have struck up a relationship to where she's helping Takatsuki look for these binders, which is a very big step. Takatsuki is feeling this dysphoria, and he wants to be able to hide his breasts because he feels extremely uncomfortable and just horrible about having them. So he wants to get this binder to be able to flatten his chest enough to be able to hide them, to be able to feel a little more comfortable. And I do know a lot of trans men go through this. A lot of trans men, until they can get top surgery, or if they can't, have to wear binders. Because they don't want to be perceived in public as having breasts. So this is it's a very big step that Takatsuki's going through. And throughout the episode, we kind of see how these characters are going through a lot of this general stuff. How both Nitori and Takatsuki are starting to really embrace the fact that they are trans, that they're not the gender they were assigned at birth. And we see them as they go shopping and stuff. They dress as their preferred gender. Takatsuki wears clothes that are more, I would call personally gender neutral, but I guess you could call them kind of more masculine than standardly feminine. And of course, Nitori dresses in her wig and dress and everything. And they even offer to trade names with each other. And kind of go with that for the time. They mention how they want to be, they want to go by the parts of Romeo and Juliet in the play, with, of course, Nitori being Juliet and Takatsuki being Romeo. And it doesn't end up working, obviously, but still. We also see the teacher bring in a few more students to help with the writing and stuff, which, as we see, Sayori doesn't like, which kind of leads into a lot of the problems with the next episode. And we kind of see at the end in a moment I honestly kind of glanced over for some reason. It's like I didn't even realize what was going on. Sayori was at the church, was at, I guess, her local church, and was praying that she be named Romeo for the play, and that Shuichi be Juliet, or Nitori be Juliet. Shuichi Nitori. I kind of noticed something was happening there with that, and that's kind of what it looked like to me, but I wasn't sure because I think I was talking at the moment. And that kind of makes everything almost feel a little worse in terms of my thoughts on Sayori. Sayori feels like a very clingy character as well. She clearly has a thing for Nitori, but to almost an unhealthy looking level. To the point where she's taking it this ridiculously seriously. The point that she got so freaking angry and pissy over the fact that it didn't go her way, and that Mako was named Juliet. And it's just, it kind of just bothered me. Everything about her just honestly bothers me. And I love that episode. I loved episode 4. I thought it was fantastic. But then we got to episode 5. And that's where it kind of got really tense. And this opening part wasn't like this huge, like hugely poor part or anything. The first scene and everything was a lot better. And it was a big, important scene. Because they're all at Sayori's house. Everyone there is for the script brainstorming session and all. And, of course, Sayori's being pissy because she does that. And then the one guy there, Fumiya, he joins in and outs Nitori. And this is an extremely important part because they even made a point of noting how it was uncomfortable and how it was just honestly not right. Now, granted, he was outing Nitori as a cross-dresser, or if you want to use the term transvestite, that's what that means, cross-dresser. But still, let's talk about the idea of outing someone in the LGBT community. Don't do it. Do not fucking out someone if they do not want to be outed. And honestly, don't do it anyways. It's their responsibility and their choice to do it. If they want to do it, they do it when they're ready. You never out someone else. Whether it's outing them as gay, lesbian, pan, trans, ace, whatever. Does not matter. You never fucking out someone. And this part, like, almost kind of threw me off a little, if I'm being honest, when I was watching it. Because, honestly, I kind of felt like I wasn't, like, angry in the moment. I'm angrier now that I'm thinking about it, but in the moment, I just kind of was so thrown off by it. Even though, again, it was misconstrued. I was thrown off by it to a point where my mind honestly became a little fuzzy. And we see... We also see Fumiya then kind of mocking Nitori later on. We see Fumiya in the bathroom, and I believe he specifically says something along the lines of, does he, referring to Nitori using the wrong pronouns, think he's a tranny or something? And he's like, sick. And he's clearly mocking Nitori. And I believe the word tranny was specifically the word used. And then he's like, oh, why does she, referring to Sayori, even like him? Is it because he's cute? And then he like slicks back his hair and takes off his glasses and pretends to be a girl and says, "Oh, I'm really cute. I'm cuter than Nitori," and it was so fucking infuriating. Like that part was really starting to get to me to the point where I was fuming. I was trying not to let loose, but I was fuming. Like with Sayori, I just get really irritated by her, just the way she is, her personality and stuff. But with this, oh, Fumiya made my shit list with this. One, using the word tranny, which, in my eyes, is a really, really insulting term to use. Second, just the overall mocking nature of it. The entire scene was excessively horrid. And just And Mako, being the good friend that he is, after all of this, after being, again, outed for technically a misunderstanding of it all, but he comforts Nitori, and it's very clear that he realizes what's going on, and he's really accepting of Nitori either way, because they're friends, and he's good with it all, which is awesome. I'm really glad that Mako is such a good friend about it all. But it's just that Fumiya made my shit list. I'm sorry. We see that they celebrate after the script is finished. We have this little cute fireworks scene. And then, of course, they start to draw the lots. And neither of our main characters get the roles we were hoping they would get. And honestly, I'm actually really surprised about that. I am legitimately really surprised. I thought it was going to be one of those cases where the characters, it was like fate that they would get those roles. But not only did they not get the roles they were expecting, neither of them got either role. Which was actually really freaking surprising. The fact that it was Sayori and Mako was just shocking to me. But at the same time, interesting. Because I don't know, it's just it's interesting that those two were paired together and everything, and now they're pledging that they're going to do it together. I'm wondering if they're possibly going to work into some kind of romance with those two. I kind of hope not, just because Mako's so nice and helpful and loving and caring, and Sayori's a bitch, and I don't know, I don't think they would make a good couple. I'm sorry, I really don't like Sayori. I mean, Fumiya I hate even more, but yeah. So Sayori's pissy about it, tries to get everything changed, tries to kill off all the characters for the play, but they convince that to not happen. Yeah. And we see a little part with Anna, who is one of Nitori's sister's friends. We see her come up to Nitori and Takatsuki and just matter-of-factly state, "You're a girl." And I loved that. That was a good scene as well. There were a couple good scenes in this episode. I'm not saying that it was a bad episode when I say that I found it extremely boring overall, or that it kind of confirmed my my idea of taking a break, but I did like that scene, because it's like, she just comes up, matter-of-factly says, "You're a girl. Is this your girlfriend?" I mean, obviously, falsely seeing Takatsuki as a girl, but, I mean, she doesn't really know Takatsuki, I guess, so. she knows Nitari a little more. And I think she's gotten it by this point that Nitari is a girl. Which, the fact that she was so matter-of-fact about it and so just completely, clearly supportive, honestly, that's kind of what it felt like to me, at least, was cool. And we see that she has the same charm on her phone. And so I'm thinking she kind of like, oh, I find this little charm cute. Maybe I'll get one for Nitari. I kind of feel like maybe that's the reason she got it for her. And yeah. Kind of with the end there, of course, there's the part with Sayori and Mako pledging to be their characters and everything. Overall, the episode felt really slow. Like I mentioned in my pre-thoughts, a lot of this feels slow, but this episode felt really slow. Despite having a couple really good moments, it just felt like it just felt like it was dragging on, and it wasn't as entertaining. It wasn't as fun. It kind of came across as just honestly really hard to watch. And it, like I said, kind of reaffirmed my thoughts regarding all of this, regarding taking a break. And I kind of have some feelings towards this series about where I think this might be going, where I think certain things might be going. For example, Mako's showing some things that I'm really starting to think he might be actually a she as well. I'm starting to think Mako is showing some aspects and some signs of possibly being trans as well. And I'm kind of hoping that's the case, because I could completely see it, and I would support the hell out of that. But honestly, I think right now it's kind of more speculation. And right now there's nothing really to confirm it, so I'm going to keep referring to Mako as he, him for the moment until something else is confirmed one way or the other. But I could completely see it and believe it, and I honestly would hope for it. And there's certain other characters that I like, for example, Chiba, I believe her name is, the one who we saw wearing a male uniform with her introduction. Maybe she could be non-binary. That would be cool. Maybe having a non-binary character, or specifically bi-gendered, like basically, is it a male or female day kind of thing? Like, bi-gendered people will switch between it based on what they're feeling and everything. Whether they identify as male one day or female the next day, and there could be like multiple days in a row where it's a male day, and so on and so forth. And sometimes it can be like tri-gendered, where there's even days they just don't identify as male or female. And I could completely see Chiba being one of those kinds of characters. And I would love to see that. I think it would work for her. But again, until we have any kind of confirmation, I will refer to Chiba as her. Just for now. Once we get confirmation, I will switch over. But I've been talking about this long enough, so I think what we really need to discuss here is what we're doing with this series. I mentioned in the pre-thoughts that I was planning on kind of taking a break from it, and that I was planning on just, taking a break for now and coming back to it to kind of refresh myself and make myself ready to see more before I continue on. To the point where I would, not drop it, but put it on hold for now. We would do something else on Friday, once again chosen by poll, and then Wandering Sun would continue as the next coming reaction for a different slot. And here's what I'm thinking. My plan for this would be that Wandering Sun would take over one of the Sunday slots, specifically from Mob Psycho 100 Season 2. Because High Score Girl, I already have something that's going to take place right after that. High Score Girl's close to finishing. and I really want to get to what's going to take place after that. So I'm thinking after Mob Psycho, we would return to Wandering Sun. That has been my plan. However, as I said, with episode 4, I kind of completely reversed on that and like, no, I want to continue this actually now. Episode 5 kind of confirmed my initial thoughts that I wanted to take a break and kind of refresh myself. But I have a but. I want to see more. I don't want to put it on hold. So here's what I'm going to do. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to continue Wandering Sun for now. But I'm going to try and continue to do 2 episodes every week. So we can kind of, not really rush through it, but get through it a little faster, I guess. So I have less time to like feel that kind of disconnect, that kind of point where I'm feeling like really off about the series. And also, if I ever feel it, I'll just take the week off. And there'll just be a week off between reactions. And I think that it's going to be important to do this because this series, I don't want to drop it, and I won't drop it because it's too important. And at the same time, I don't want to even put it on hold. Even though I kind of felt the same things that I was talking about at the beginning. I felt like with the second episode, it was going really slow, and it was kind of getting harder to find the motivation again. Episode 4 convinced me enough to want to continue it for now. Again, if there ever comes a time where I need to take a week off, I will. But I'm going to try to do 2 episodes each week from this point. So like next week would be 6 and 7, and then 8 and 9. And then after that, I would probably try to do 3 episodes after that, just because 10, 11, and 12, there's 12 episodes. Or maybe one week I might just do 1 episode. And that'll then catch it up to doing 2 episodes every other week. Or heck, maybe at some point I'll just do a bunch of episodes and just kind of marathon through some of it. Try to get through a lot of it. We'll see. We'll see. I'm not going to promise anything right now, but I will say that my choice to put it on hold, I'm rescinding that. We're not putting it on hold. I'm taking that back now. So, for all of you who might have maybe been a little worried about that when you were watching my pre-thoughts and everything, and even a lot of my afterthoughts here. For all of you who are worried about that, that's your relief. I'm not going to drop it for now. But that's for now. I'm never going to drop it. Wrong word. I'm not going to put it on hold for now. But that's for now. Again, if I need to take a week or even 2 off at some point, I will. But I'm not going to drop it. I'm not going to put it on hold. We're just going to continue on as we can. And as we will. And that's just how we're going. That's just what is going to be happening from this point forward. So I am excited to get to more of this. And instead of Wandering Sun, obviously, since it's not being put on hold, it won't be needed to be put in the Sunday slot. So I'll have something else there instead. But in the meantime, I do want to thank you all so much for tuning in. And I want to hear your thoughts on these episodes. What did you think of just the continuation of Takatsuki's dysphoric feelings? What did you think about Sayori in the second episode here? And how do you think that these 2 episodes compared in terms of their overall quality and feeling of entertainment? Tell me your thoughts on all of that and more in the comments below, and thank you so much for tuning in. For now, I'm Connie, and I'm signing off. See y'all next time.
And though you've come through many obstacles,